Have you seen Ted Lasso? It's a good show, and if you haven't seen it, get to it. It's a great show, and it's real quickly. I'm not gonna tell you about the show because I want you to go check it out. But if you've seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. What I love about this show is because it's different from any other show. This is why it is my number one show. It's just what I love to watch, and I keep watching and rewatching the 3 seasons that it has, and I feel like it should have more, but you know, it was one of those things. It's like he, Ted, the actor that plays Ted, he wants to be in the United States with his family. You can't blame him, just like the character of Ted in the story. But what is great about Ted Lasso is his demeanor, how positive it is, and he knows that his positivity, the Lasso way, will eventually change the culture wherever he is. First of all, there's one of the great biggest lessons in that in one of those episodes where he talks about how many people always judge him, and by judging him, they dismiss him. They dismiss his potential and I completely underestimate him. But they never asked any questions, like, "Are you good at this or that?" And then people find out, and it's not very the end. The end result is not beneficial to the one person that did the judging. It's like, don't judge, ask questions. Be curious instead of just judging. I just came back from a walk and I saw at least 4 guys that you're looking at, because I look around at the clouds or the trees and things like that. As I'm looking around, then all of a sudden I glance back to the road to see if the light has changed, so I can continue on walking with my baby boy, with my doggy. And I catch this guy just completely staring at me, just having these moments. Was like, easy, bro. What's happening through your mind? They're judging me. And by now it's like the trillionth person that does it. And I want to emphasize that it's like, you guys, you're not hurting anybody because you don't like them. You're not hurting them because you hate them. You're not hurting them because you sit there and make faces at them. And you're actually hurting yourself, because what you're putting out is coming back at you. Karma. Yeah. And sometimes I don't even want to say karma, because people think that, oh, that shit doesn't even exist. And like I heard this other guy said, that the universe doesn't care about giving you karma or some shit like that. It's like, dude, why do you speak about things you don't understand? Karma is not punishment. But hey, when you do bad things all the time, yeah, you could see it as punishment. Karma is a reflection of what you've been doing. See, everything is a feedback mechanism. What you're thinking keeps repeating in front of you. So you're always getting a dose of karma. Always, constantly, because what you're putting out is reflecting right back. It's not a lie. First of all, before you start going, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's just talking out of his ass and all that stuff. Fine, don't believe me. You always run into the same wall, don't you? Yeah, because there's only you get to a limit, and then you don't want to think anymore. And that's what happens. You have to look into these situations, because, this is why there's people like me, doing these, delivering this information. So we've gone through it. We know what it is. We study. We went into the situation and analyzed it. And also, not only that, we practice it on ourselves. Because we're our own laboratories. So if it works for me, it's probably going to work with somebody else. So when I talk about these concepts, I'm not just talking about things that I don't understand. I've actually practiced them in my life, and I know what they're all about. So in this case, karma being a punishment, it's only a punishment if you're a piece of crap. It's like some people asking for immunity for doing all kinds of crazy things and bad things, basically. Oh yeah, able to just do whatever I want. In what universe does that even pass as valid? Is anyway, I'm not gonna go into that because again, I feel like I'm losing brain cells just muttering those words. Um, so, in essence, what I'm trying to say here is, if you don't want nobody to step on your tail, don't have one. If you don't want your evil bones to show, don't do evil. If you don't want to find out, don't fudge around. It's 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 not idiotic, it's not idealistic, it's not stupid to be positive. The people who are judging being positive are miserable. And of course, it's going to seem stupid to these people. Of course, they may seem annoyed because, I mean, think about it. They're already in a funk. Nothing's going to make them smile at that point. And all this is what you're seeing the whole time. And they're just sitting there. And then they get company. It's like, and these kids awful. This government. And you see them in little versus just one or two guys or two old men or two old women, doesn't matter, but they and then more come in and then they're just complaining about it. You know what I've noticed about those conversations? That when they're over, you are drained, especially for people like me. You know, if I used to hear these conversations, I used to, you know, consider listening to these conversations. It's like, holy macaroni, it's not good. It's not good. You just feel like your whole energy was sucked out of you. That can't be good. So it shows the negative energy that these people are expelling. If we're swimming in a sea of mentality, which we are, soul vibratory mentality, it's just basically these particles and waves are just idling, just waiting to solidify whatever, a concept, an object, an idea, right? So they're just idling, waiting for you to admit something, accept something as true, and they'll go to work. So as that is happening, you know, those waves are flying about. So if you're standing in the middle of that, of course it can affect you, right? But my point to bring in Ted Lasso is you can change the whole culture, especially if you're positive. You came here to change the world and not let the world change you.